Hey, don't let these tears fool you. There's all dog around this mug. I'm good.
We got some news right off the press. The New Orleans Saints have released veteran wide receiver James Washington.
Damn.
Now, James Washington, of course, started his career with the Pittsburgh Steelers, had some really good solid seasons there. He dealt with some injuries, unfortunately, which caused the Pittsburgh Steelers not to pay him. He ended up going to the Dallas Cowboys, and he dealt with some injuries there. The Saints picked him up, and he thought that he would possibly resurrect his career with the New Orleans Saints, but it just did not pan out. I think he played in preseason. I mean, he didn't record any statistics.
Barbecue chicken alert.
But I knew that this was going to be a long shot for a guy like James Washington. And as a matter of fact, it's going to be a long shot for a lot of these guys for the New Orleans Saints, especially at the wide receiver position. I mean, you think about guys like Brian Edwards and Quan Baker and Kirkland, you know, who they just got, and Bowden and all these other different guys that are out there making plays. It's going to be hard for them.
I'm fighting for my life. Y'all killing me with this.
But the best thing about this is you're not just auditioning for the New Orleans Saints. Like, even if the New Orleans Saints do not pick you up and you're not a part of the practice squad or the 53-man roster, there's still other teams that are watching film right now. I mean, we all know that that's the reason how the New Orleans Saints end up getting Taysom Hill a few years back. You know, they were actually looking at one player and Taysom Hill popped off the tape, and the next thing you know, Taysom Hill is a mainstay and a really key component to the Saints offense. And I think the same thing is going to happen with James Washington. James Washington honestly didn't even think that he would sign with the Saints. His agent and he were talking with the New York Giants, and he thought that was the route he was going to go. But instead, he ended up going to the Saints. And James Washington still has a lot to offer a team. He's a really good blocker as a wide receiver. He's a guy with some really good speed. He's a very disciplined route runner. But the injuries are a little bit of a concern. And, when you start to get those little nagging injuries, you start to develop a reputation of being injury prone. And I don't want that to happen to James Washington. I don't think it's nothing against him personally. It's just been a really, really deep wide receiver room. I mean, we've seen the talent on the field week one. I mean, we've seen A.T. Perry, the 6th-round draft pick out of Wake Forest. He came into his own. We've seen a couple more guys out there. We've seen Keith Kirkwood catch the first touchdown of the game. We got Bowden out there that was running back kicks. Did a really good job there. Shaq Davis, the South Carolina State product, who a lot of Saints fans are very, very high on. It's going to be tough. It's going to be extremely tough for these guys to make the roster. A lot of these guys are going to end up on a practice squad, but that's the reason why you compete. And there's still 2 more preseason games for you to prove yourself. We're looking for guys like A.T. Perry to continue to build on what he's done, the 6 catches for 70 yards. And we're looking for some of these other guys to be able to step up to make a case for them possibly making a team or even putting something on tape to make another team. But I do want to also talk about the Saints signing Darell Williams as well, the LSU product. I think we're all excited about that, right? We're all excited about another New Orleanian / LSU Tiger being a part of the New Orleans Saints. Look, I didn't stutter when I said it, and I'm not going to stutter again. I don't think it's a coincidence that Sean Payton is gone, and now we have a whole plethora of former LSU Tigers and natives of Louisiana in the building.
The State of the Saints podcast.
I just think that that's just something that Sean Payton wanted to get away from, and it seems like to me it's something that Dennis Allen and Mickey Loomis are embracing. And I also think that, when you are from a city it feels good to actually see people that you can relate to, right? A lot of the people that are coming to the Superdome probably watch some of these players grow up and probably tuned in to Fourth Down on Four on WWL and watch these guys play in a high school, and then all of a sudden you're seeing them playing in college, on SEC network and all these other places that you can actually find them. So you have an emotional investment in these guys. You have an investment in them, and you want to see them succeed. And you have an even bigger investment in them succeeding now that, they're playing for the hometown team. And I mentioned this on the last episode of the State of the Saints podcast. I mentioned that when it comes to sports teams, how important those sports teams are to the people within that city. And we all know, if you're from New Orleans, you know how much New Orleanians love the Saints. They live and die by them. And when the Saints lose, it's a bad week, right? And we know when they win, a lot of positive spirits and a lot of positive energy is in the air. So having another guy that understands that it's bigger than just going out there on the field, it's about putting on for your city. A guy like Darell Williams can come in and provide another spark, and you can be able to just watch this guy play at a high level and enjoy even more knowing that he's from our neck of the woods. But Darell Williams, started his career in Kansas City, of course. He got a Super Bowl championship. I mean, I can argue and say, man, he played so well in that Super Bowl, he could have been MVP. But, of course, we all know if a quarterback throws a touchdown and scrambles for a couple of yards, no matter how good a decent they play, they're going to end up trying to give him MVP because they always try to give it to the quarterback. But Darell Williams, he provided a spark throughout that game. He's a guy who can catch the ball out of the backfield. He can run in between the tackles. It's something that's going to be absent for a couple of weeks because of Alvin Kamara's suspension. And, of course, we know that AK is going to be suspended the first 3 games of the season. But you need somebody to be able to hold it down. We are looking at guys like Jamal Williams, who we really are very, very high on as Saints fans. Also, we're very, very high on Kendre Miller. Lucky for him, he didn't sustain a major knee injury. Is minor. He's going to miss a few weeks, but he should be able to be a part of the rotation. But this is an opportunity for guys like Ellis Merriweather and guys like Darell Williams to be able to step up in the absence of guys like Miller and AK. And Darell Williams can come in right away, and I think that he's going to contribute right away. He's a seasoned veteran. He's been around. He's played in some big games. He's been a part of some big moments, not just on a professional level, the collegiate level as well. During his time at LSU, we already know that. But looking forward to seeing Darell Williams in the Saints uniform. And I'm glad that the New Orleans Saints are embracing the culture, adding guys that come from the Louisiana culture to be able to play for this team. And I think it's going to be a very exciting season for Saints fans all over. But I would love to hear from you. What do you think about the release of James Washington? And what do you think about the signing of running back Darell Williams? Comment down below, like and share this video. Thank you so much for checking out the State of the Saints podcast. Make sure that you subscribe to the YouTube channel, youtube.com, search the State of the Saints podcast. Facebook.com, search Gumbo Pot Sports. Check out gumbopotsports.com, the publication where we talk about all teams in the NFL. We mostly cover the New Orleans Saints, of course. So make sure that you check that out. And also, you can follow me on Twitter, also known as X, at TJAY Jones 8. Till next time, all I got to say is, who dat?